Quick thing before the video, I recently featured on ATP's podcast along with Spylo, so be sure to check that out in the top right and in the description. It was a lot of fun. Awkward OW, sometimes referred to as the Andrew Tate of Overwatch or Awkward Tate, has recently risen in the Overwatch educational space, whether it's garnering major popularity on his Unranked GM series or starting controversy with his polarizing tweets. I'd be surprised if you hadn't heard of Awkward by now. In this video, I plan to document Awkward's rise as a streamer and content creator, cover some of his controversial and bold tweets and stances, alongside giving my perspective on him as an educational content creator. Spoiler, I think he's pretty good. Now, Awkward's career is actually pretty interesting. Awkward, or Danny Novak, sorry if I'm butchering your pronunciation, actually started off his Overwatch career professionally, playing all the way back in the 2017 World Cup, which had EQO on it, who's best known for his Genji on the Philadelphia Fusion. The team finished in 5th to 6th place in the Santa Monica qualifiers, with Awkward in the following years in 2018 being signed onto Team Snakes for 5 days, explaining why I can't find any gameplay of him. He also had a short time on Contenders Team Bazooka Puppies, which rebranded to Team Side Effects, only spending 10 days in the team. The team eventually ended up placing 4th in Contenders Trials with a 4-3 records. In 2019, Awkward actually jumps up to American Contenders Team Triumph, and by the looks of their Liquipedia page, Triumph underwent a lot of changes on the roster. There is so much raw talent and so many big names on this roster, from Icy, Halo, A10, Samito, Vigilante, Lep, Hydron, and then of course, Awkwards. It's kinda crazy to think that on this roster, 3 of the players then became top tier content creators. Despite the volatility in the Triumph roster, they finished the season in a respectable 3rd place against the NYXL's Academy team, XL2, with Awkward actually staying on the team throughout 2020. Despite a slow start, the results of Triumph improved as 2020 went along, finishing in a 3rd to 4th place spot, losing against Team Doge twice in a span of 2 weeks. And then, in June 2020, Awkward was then released from Triumph after a year and a half of being on the roster. From here on out though, Awkward delved straight into his content creation arc. His oldest upload on his YouTube channel is from late September 2020, where he showcased how good he was on one of his signature heroes, being Honor. Not that much soon after, we'd see the last lick of professional play seen from Awkward before he fully delved into his content creation arc. At the end of 2020, he and a team of streamers, which featured himself, Kathy, Harblue, Craggy, ML7 and Shock, finished 1st place in a tournament held by Monkey Bubble called Banana Brawl. They absolutely rolled the competition in a 4-0 sweep, and honestly, I'm surprised Awkward was this big of a streamer at this point to play alongside some of those guys. Unfortunately, his Social Blade history on Twitch doesn't really track the progress he made in 2020, but we do know that he was decently sized heading into 2021, with over 8,000 Twitch followers and close to 200,000 channel views. It wasn't until March the 26th, 2021 however, where Awkward discovered a fucking GTA Online infinite money glitch with Unranked GMs. He released his part 1 to his educational Unranked GM series on Zenyatta, garnering 237,000 views, and this was only his part 1. His part 2, which was an hour longer, garnered over 150k. The reason why I call Unranked GMs infinite money glitches is because of the watch time and the ads being played. For those who don't know, a regular 10-minute video will have a watch time of anywhere between 4 and 6 minutes, unless you're Mr. Beast. But with videos as long as Awkward's, the watch time would easily be beyond 15 minutes, and I wouldn't be shocked if they're between 20 and 30 minutes. This means you get roughly up to quadruple, quintuple, sextuple, or up to 10 times more money off of Unranked GMs compared to regular videos. And the best part about Unranked GMs is that they require minimal editing and minimal effort beyond obviously playing the games. Thankfully for Awkward though, despite the drawbacks and some of the controversy inherent to doing Unranked GMs, he keeps them pretty educational and what I can confidently say are objectively the best Unranked GMs on the platform. With the good feedback he saw doing this kind of content, he continued pumping them out left, right and centre, following up his Zenyatta one with one on Honor, garnering over 500,000 views. With a 6-hour duration and that view count, let me tell you, he made bank off that video. He soon followed that one up with Mercy, Baptiste, Hog, and Brig, all before the release of Overwatch 2, but when that dropped in October, he quickly picked it back up the series, releasing one on Honor, Kiriko, Zen, Zarya, Soldier, Baptiste, Tracer, Brig, and most recently, Moira. He's also released other educational content along the way, for instance, his 4-step plan on Kiriko, which I thought was pretty decent. Or also, proving a Redditor wrong, when they claimed that Awkward was giving out bad advice for the majority of Honor players. However, it's when we take a step off Awkward's YouTube and Twitch and where we move over to his Twitter where things get spicy. In particular, a tweet of his garnering 2.3 million views to a ratio of 900 likes and 400 comments really startled the Overwatch community. His tweet essentially justified the existence of smurfing as a mere challenge and the necessity for learning and improving. Whilst Awkward is right in that people shouldn't blame smurfs for their inability to climb, the lack of nuance in his tweets about smurfing being a challenge to play against got heavily critiqued by the community. In particular, this tweet from Moneyfolder with the caption, "Footage of me playing in a gold lobby, I'm actually helping them get better, they're learning from this," illustrates the point perfectly. Awkward's tweet had garnered so much attention that SVB decided to make an entire group up podcast episode on it. This featured two professional coaches, being Iostux and Spylo, titled The Great Smurf Debates. Overall, the podcast episode was pretty informative and gave Awkward an opportunity to add a lot more nuance to his initial tweets.
Like if someone is saying, oh, the reason why I'm in Platinum and I can't climb the Smurfs, that's obviously not true. But if someone is saying, oh, the reason I am not having as much fun is because I'm playing against a Smurf, I think that's like a very valid opinion to have.
When I step in the ring, I don't also enjoy having fun having punches thrown in my face, right? But it's a very good learning experience. And what I don't enjoy particularly is let's say sparring against someone significantly worse than me, because there's nothing that I can learn from it.
1908, and it talks about the Yerkes-Dodson law, the challenge skill balance. And what that means is when we're trying to enter flow state, which is the optimal state for learning, for having fun, for improving, there has to be a very careful line between where we have, this is where my current skill is, and this is where the challenge is. So it's above where my current skill set is. For us to actually improve, if we play at the same skill level, it's actually really hard to get better. Or like Awkward said, if you're beating up on gold players, it's almost impossible to get better, right? But then the opposite is true as well, where when you break that line, when the flow goes from the challenge is beyond my current skill set significantly, it gets to be so overwhelming that we know it's no longer a learning process.
More recently though, Awkward made yet another tweet that's, unsurprisingly, polarized a handful more people, so much so that it had landed on the Overwatch TMZ subreddit with the title, Awkward Tate Strikes Again. This time, it was about pushing the payload in Overwatch 2, saying they would rather sit scared and do nothing while others provide value. If you find yourself often pushing the payload, it means that subconsciously, you admit to yourself that you are the worst player on the team. This provoked responses from Bad Pachamari, stating, nothing wrong with being payload princess, and more serious responses, such as from Contenders player Cuffer, stating, you tweet the most AI garbage. However, I do want to leave this video off with a good note with Awkward's recent gym challenge. You see, Awkward is one of the few content creators and coaches who don't just promote growth inside the game, but also outside of it too, which is why he decided to do a gym challenge where those who shared their progress on their physique might get selected by Awkward for having their entire gym membership covered. I thought that this was such a good idea myself that I stole it, so if you want to post your physical progress in my Discord and potentially win $10 and a free coaching session, feel free to hit up the link below. But yeah, that's the story of one of Overwatch's most renowned creators, Awkward. And that's it for the video. Shout out to my channel members, Sosfring, Ninesocks, T-Meg, Reslucio, Chris Jones, and Craig, and let me know your thoughts down below. Until next time.